loud. All right.
It's official.
Good afternoon, good morning, good evening. We have individuals from all around the globe today. Thank you for joining our King's Counsel and Trust monthly town hall gathering, where we come together to learn more about this incredible vision, this family office, meet some of the team, get updates on our initiative. This is our public forum where you get to, invite new guests and really discover what we're about. We have, let me do a quick screen share here. Those of you that are new, we welcome you. And let's see here. It's making me choose one. All right. Oh, and it's giving me a little bit of a hard time. So, and we love technology. It is our friend. It helps us accomplish so many wonderful things. And here we go. And so
don't laugh too loud, David.
And if you're with us and you have a guest, please introduce your, please introduce your guest in the chat. Go ahead and feel free to say where you're joining us from. We will have a great opportunity to collaborate as we get through here. All right, now we are set. Ready, set, begin. So we'll go into more detail about this as we get going, but this is obviously an overview of a number of items and services that trust and corporate services that King's Counsel and Trust offers. If you are, boy, this thing is really loving me today. We're here to connect people for one purpose. Our agenda today will quickly highlight those of you that you guys have heard this many times as we keep coming back, our mission and vision, but this is where we get to come together and really align our vision and connect with why we're all here. You'll get some KCT updates. You'll meet some of the team. We have some great new things happening with various initiatives. Each month, we really highlight new things that we're up to and how to plug in. I will drop in the YouTube channel. So if you want to see some of the replays, we have all of our town hall meetings where you can find out about various projects as we go along. You'll learn how to get involved. And also we do our breakout session at the end where you get to meet some great people and open it up for Q&A. So here is our mission and vision. If I'll just pause for a moment and please type in the chat, maybe a word or a statement that you connect with. So for me, I love give it away what you can't keep. Getting that circulation flowing. Anybody else want to put, oh, Larry, vision. I'd love to hear if there's a piece that you connect with in this. Awesome. Partner Karen, thank you so much. Okay, so we are very honored to have a visionary at the helm of where we're going and what we're doing, and the inspiration for King's Counsel and Trust Family Office. As many of you know, he came from the financial structure of having his licenses and Morgan and Stanley, and once he got to really see behind the curtain, I hope it's okay I'm saying this, Dale, and if there's any corrections as far as, okay, we don't want to say this too publicly, but once he really saw what was going on, he knew that there was a better way. And he has actually been tagged as a financial futurist. He has the foresight to enact a new global system of wealth creation in a time of crisis, a lot of what we're dealing with right now, and reinventing private equity as a function of cash flow. And so if we could give Dale a wonderful round of applause. And I'll pass the ball to you.
What was that? Oh, never mind.
Team whistle.
Right. Yeah, something like that. Sometimes it's crickets. I'm not sure. Anyway, I'm really glad everybody's here. It's a favorite time of year because as we come into the close of October, it's usually that harvest time with our Jewish brethren, the kicking off of the new year. It's celebrating what the old one was, and here we are in the Feast of Tabernacles in the midst of transition into the new. And everybody shifts from so-called making it to now keeping more of what we made. In particular, because we've got a variety of folks that we saw with registration and hopping on for this. The long-awaited update in terms of a wallet initiative we started a year ago. Can you imagine all these town halls that we're doing were just about a year ago? Well, fortunately, we've got a few updates and to share with that. So how all of that kind of fits into things, if you're not sure how the dots connect, to join me today is a few folks that will help connect those dots. But all of that to say, it all started with, we envisioned what was coming down with a central bank digital currency. Before I go on there, is there anyone on the line? There's a couple pages I see in the Hollywood Squares here. Does anyone not heard of a central bank digital currency? Amanda. Okay.
And we have a few people that are off camera, so they may be in the same boat.
Okay. Well, suffice it to say, if the world banks have their way, they're going to do away with cash. I got a problem with that. When I go shopping at the farmer's market, I use cash. When I want a cup of coffee, I use cash. When I was in Orlando last for a cup of coffee, I couldn't use cash. That's a problem. That's probably a lot of problematic for a lot of people, that you want to give your kid an allowance or something else like that with cash and hold on to it. You know, it's pretty neat fintech to hold the silver dollar, especially for the millennials that don't know what that even means. Suffice it to say, if you all wouldn't mind going to a site, cqrvault.org, and I'm going to share my screen so that you don't necessarily have to go there. You can just kind of watch. If you don't know what's coming, this is our version of what you can put on your phone. I hope you know how to use that. We don't have instructions there. But suffice to say, what we've built around cqrvault.org is the ability to put an app on your phone. Apple's been a big pain in the butt, got to admit. Nonetheless, for those Android users, kind of works the same way. The ability to not just put on your banking information, some of your crypto information, some affinity information, but also the ability to put on sovereign silver and gold. And so I'll just do a quick little show through here. We're working in 5 areas around the world. Other countries, you know, if we're in Canada, for example, we'll be talking crowns. If we're over in Europe, we'll be talking hopes. And some of how that works, the features and the benefits, we won't really get into a whole lot, but you can read more about it afterwards. We are recording, right?
Yes.
Yeah, cool. All right. Advantages. Why do we want to do this? Hopefully by now it is becoming more and more obvious. Most folks, I'll just stop on this section right here. Most folks are de-dollarizing countries, institutions, even pension funds, the smart ones. And here's why, because the purchasing power is falling off a cliff in terms of what you can take a dollar and go buy. Bottom line is, if you're not shoring up your assets right now and something that's going to at least hold value, forget about appreciation, at least hold value, you should be thinking about that. And I'll get to that in just a second. That's part of today's theme. How are you going to end the year? How are you going to end it well? And how are you going to position yourself, your home, your business, your whatever it is that you've got, your balance sheet? How are you going to preserve that in the next year to come? Second thing, cash flow. Why is cash flow important? Because of the loss of the purchasing power. There's this thing called the inflation. The government would want you to believe that's still in single digits. We disagree. They don't calculate it the way they used to calculate it. And if you go back to the way they used to calculate it, if you're not doing 20% a year in whatever you're currently invested in, you're still going backwards. Let that sink in a minute. You're in a little John boat. You think that the water's going by, you're looking and you like to fish. Jim Digert, I know you're up there and you like to fish and the lakes of Michigan and the like, but you think you're moving along. And next thing you know, you're going over the waterfall. Why? Because what you're doing over ground is actually still going backwards, albeit slowly, but still going backwards. I don't know if most of you A study was done with the Social Security Administration. They've studied retirees, this whole idea of retirement planning for a good long time. They know, absolutely know, that 95% of the folks, Americans, mind you, will be dependent on someone or the government in their later years because they have not made enough of the right decisions to have more than enough later in life to work when they can, to take care of them when someone else can. I don't know if you know this or not, but the latest stats indicate that only 1 in 2 Americans, about 50%, even have a retirement plan. Now, granted, for most of us that are faith-based believers, retirement's not even a concept that's talked about in the Bible. You know, you're supposed to already do what you love, but most of us aren't. Not sure why not, but suffice it to say, we've got an opportunity that all things considered, what we're doing is not just the what, but the how. We want to do this in community. We've been saying that all along. We want to do that smart. Stop living a debt-based economy and start living with asset-based economy. This wallet initiative allows you to have all of that in one place and pretty soon to be able to take care of your suppliers with it, your employees with it, and anybody else with it, except for the Internal Revenue Service, because you can only pay your federal taxes in, everybody knows this, right? Federal Reserve notes. It doesn't work with crypto. It doesn't work with gold or silver. It doesn't work with just about anything else other than their money. We're not interested in using their money anymore. It doesn't work for us. If that sounds like a little bit of a double-mindedness, it could, I get it. Because we all think, well, gee, if I had a little bit more money, I could just get out of this hole. Well, that's part of the problem. It's that stinking thinking that got you in the hole that we're talking about. So if I ruffle a little feathers today, that's okay. Part of our job. That's why we're here, is to show you, to talk about, to whoever invited you, you have a choice. Because mainstream media would just assume you think that it's all gloom and doom and there is no choice and just throw up your hands and give up and have a cocktail and say goodnight. No, we got work to do. That's why we're all here. So in the last quarter, what's really exciting is we did a roundup, some of the projects. We reached out to our big list, and of our big list, in July, we ended up with 70 some odd, roughly, that said, hey, I like what you're talking about. You're telling me that if I could produce a 2-page and I could engage with you and this thing talking about a video, and I could demonstrate that me and the founders, we're going to put in a stake, that you're going to assure me that we're going to get some kind of funding using your instrument? Yes, that's right. That's exactly what happened. So I'd like to also show you, if I could, let's get back to sharing one more time. If some of you don't know about these projects, there are those captains that are here today that you might meet in a breakout room. But I'm just going to do a quick little highlight to say how proud we are of Alomay Capital, Ranson Vineyards and Villas, Stan with his Cryptonomics, Carrot Swap and Sovereign Sky, Full Throttle Boxing, Good and Crazy. We couldn't have done that without these two particular ladies who jumped in. They came in as a partner. They said, we can help. And then in the process of it all, they said, well, wait a minute, we've got a project too. Yeah, that's how it rolls. You know, sometimes you don't know that unless you get wet. Hemp with a Cause, Lakeview Church and the Great Commission, South Florida Real Estate Group, Trifecta Health Solutions, Veritech. Now, you're going to get a link to this. Thomas, I don't know if you could help Shannon out with that, or unless Shannon, you've got it. But I'm going to just hit on Good and Crazy just for a second, since I just gave them a shout out. On every one of these links, everyone can go there. And you're going to find that 2-pager. You know, by now, a 2-pager looks like this. This is how we work with projects. They prettied it up, but on the standard front, it's got a nice text box of the essential facts and figures. And everybody's summary is going to look front, back, just like this. Pretty cool. How do I get rid of this thing? There we go. And you're going to, some of them have a pitch deck, some of them have a video. In all cases, you'll be able to go to a website. And did you know that we've got a means of scoring these things? Most of you are not good investors. You've probably made your money somewhere else in corporate America, in some other niche activity, what have you. This is a little small. I'll just blow it up a little bit. But for those of you who have never, ever looked into a private opportunity of how do I get involved? Maybe I'd like to volunteer, maybe I'll be a board member, what have you. You know, how do you make a decision? We've kind of made a nice little 2-page thing here that says, hey, you might want to consider an opportunity. And it's kind of like Dancing with the Stars. There's so many different styles. You know, how do you put them all apples to apples? This is our nifty little tool with which how we make that happen. And so you can make better informed decisions about who to get involved with, who do I need to meet, how do I set an appointment, how do I co-invest with this group, how do I supply this group? Because let me just summarize if I could. This group of people here, starting next year, over the course of next year, if all goes as planned, there's going to be more than $300 million of opportunity of fuel in the tank for these organizations to make a huge impact in the world. My question, my invitation to you all is, how would you like to play? Are you an expert in some way? They're all going to need marketing. They're all going to need IT. They're all going to need advertising. They're all going to need sales. They're all going to need people. See, money is just the beginning. People is what makes great businesses happen, you see? And I'd like to think we, working together, have the recipe for what could prevail. So regardless if we can't get on planes, trains, and get in the elbow room with one another in an elevator at a meal table, we can still get together with this technology in a virtual capacity and still get to work and do something that matters. I'd like you all to look at this and ask yourself, how do I want to play? And if it's not you, well, then who? You all probably have friends, and you have to know by the statistics, at least 1 out of 2 of them has a retirement plan some way. I don't know about what your retirement plan's done lately, but this year alone, most folks have taken a hit aboard more than 20%, I believe it is, last numbers I looked at. And not for the upside, just the opposite. Crypto the same, precious metals the same, commodities the same. In case you don't know what that means, we're coming into a very well-orchestrated super commodity cycle, which means all of the inputs, what it takes to live, to eat, to travel, just to have a roof over our head, are going to cost a lot more money. It's a hyperinflationary cycle. So what that means, what's your strategy of thriving in the next decade to come? So if I could, just consider this. If you don't like our projects, we've got another client over here, the Entrust Group, where if you use your IRA, anyone know about self-directed IRAs? It should be pretty popular right now. If you've seen more than one of these with us, self-directed IRAs is where you say, thank you, Mr. Advisor. Thank you, Mr. CPA. Thank you, attorney. Thank you, employee retirement plan sponsor. I'm going to take care of my own stuff. So you can move all of your stuff over to a platform like this. The Entrust Group's been around for 40 something years. They manage a few billion. They've got 30,000 something clients. We're not here to sell them. We're just here to show you, in case you didn't know this, that you've got a platform with which to take control of the hard work, pre-tax, qualified dollars, whatever you want to call them. Your retirement plan is in your hands. After today, there's no excuse that you didn't know. Now you know. And if you don't see an opportunity here, you can kind of flip through some of these and, oh, yeah, there's one of ours. And moving right along, you can see a couple others. Wine. Did you know that you can invest in wine? I mean, I like to drink wine, but invest in it? There's some really cool things in what's referred to as the alternative investment space. And I'm encouraging you, for as little as a few $1,000s, you can open up an account. It doesn't have to be pre-tax, it can be post-tax. We call it a Roth IRA. That means everything that grows in it, and at least for 5 years to qualify it. You don't have to wait until you're 70. Pull it out tax-free, because we're all about telling you about the toll-free road, not just the tax-deferred road. That's the pre-tax stuff. But moving right along, here's another one of ours. Anything that says my promotion on it, these are ours. We've got a few in the kitty here. Another one of our favorite ones is coming up, Trifecta Healthcare. I don't know if you all know this or not. Most people like benefits. Yeah. Most people have the company pay for their benefits. Yeah. What if you knew that you could help your employer out and cut those by 20, maybe 50% or more? That's possible. You can learn about the Trifecta Healthcare Group. And I'm with that. This goes on, pages and pages of this stuff. And I just wanted to mostly let you know what's going on and the types of people that we're working with and the platforms and the other institutional clients we're working with to make your life easier, to give you freedom of choice, of options. It doesn't just stop there with your wallet, though. You can get involved with your time and your talent, too. Here to talk about that next a little bit is Thomas and how to necessarily partner with. And after that, for all those that are on the receiving ends, yeah, so you've made your big bucks before a bunch of people come out of the wood to sell you stuff you don't need and waste time you don't have. You need to hear a few minutes from David, because all of this is learning to bank on yourselves. And more importantly, to bank on each other and some of the trust and fiduciary planning we do. So it's the capital. And here today, especially to let you know going forward, most folks don't speak it. A lot of the folks that made it to that finalist list, they had some help. And your host is actually a specialist in that area. So that's just a sneak preview of a couple of our partners that are going to share a little bit more. And with that, I pass the stick. Thank you all for being here.
Thank you, Dale. I want to just go back and highlight something that was on the screen, which jumped out at me because I do have the eyes to see it. But when Dale started the conversation regarding our wallet, that is an initiative that KCT, again, started a little better than a year ago. We did it on behalf of a client, which is ICOVEST. What jumped out at me, and it may have jumped out to all of you as well, ICOVEST has adopted the relationship royalty sharing covenant as the glue that holds everything that they do with all the cash flow vehicles that they have. The RRSC is the glue. So that client is responsible for bringing Prado, which is the funding source, which is the $300+ million that has also said, we're going to use the RRSC as the glue. So if you've been on our calls before, you remember me sharing in the past, we've spent the better part of 10 years just trying to find somebody who has a mustard seed of faith, believing beyond their best understanding and experience is that you can actually attract capital without using a debt instrument, without engaging in the world's economy with debt and securities or variety of other derivatives that they have. Because Prado had been watching what KCT has done, because ICOVEST used the RRSC and Prado recognizing the value of the RRSC, that glue that holds us all together. That's why there's $300+ million that's being funded to all those projects that Dale shared just moments ago. So again, the RRSC is the unique value proposition that is the secret sauce of KCT. And of course, if you want to have access to that secret sauce, it behooves you to be in right relationship with KCT. So if you have a project and you're looking for capital attraction, we invite you to investigate and join us, engage us with an advisory board counsel. If you don't have a project, you can still play with us. You might wish to play with us as a someone who wants to be a power partner, our cooperative marketing covenant. You don't have a project yourself, but you know people who have projects, and you can be that conduit that says, hey, I have good news to share with you. There's a resource available. If you engage them, if your vision is big enough, you don't have to believe exactly what we believe, because we want to meet you where you're at. But if you have that mustard seed of faith, can you believe that's possible to attract capital without using the debt and equity, without being fear driven? We want to have that conversation with you. For those who have access to high net worth individuals, someone who is, is paying six figures to the taxman. Dale mentioned, we have some tax deferred strategies, that's good. But we can help in that arena as well, and that's where David Dunworth is kind of in his wheelhouse is dealing with specialty trusts. I can't remember the full title, but I think it's a
Neither can I.
irrevocable. Yeah, I think it's an irrevocable discretionary complex spendthrift trust. And I probably missed one or two other descriptors in that description. But again, being in relationship with KCT means you have the ability to share good news. You want to share good news. And those are the types of people we're looking for. Some people know how to share good news, it's just natural. Some people know how to share bad news. We don't really wish to, encourage that kind of behavior. But if you can share good news with somebody, if you're here to serve someone else, you're not here primarily to get from us, because we're going to give you what we have. But if we're going to give it to you, we expect that there is a honorarium that you're going to return back to us. We're going to give. We give with the idea that we are investing our time, our talent, and treasure into people because we expect it to be multiplied. We expect it to be increased. And to the degree that people increase with us, we are delighted to share as a function of our RRSC, that glue, that secret sauce that allows everybody to play with us. And to the degree that you play with us, to the degree that we can multiply and increase, we want to be able to share with you, but you have to be in right relationship with us. So it means you have to have a project, or you're looking for some fiduciary services, or you're looking for a cooperative marketing partner relationship. Any one of those three puts you in a position to be able to receive some reward to the degree that you lean in, you engage, you share good news. Because we're really pretty good at multiplying and monetizing somebody's Rolodex. It's not what you have in your wallet that we care about. It's who do you know that we care about? Who do you love enough to share a little bit of good information with? And I think that, David, I'm going to turn it over to you if you want to talk about the fiduciary aspect. Again, for those who are going to be receiving some resources here, we want you to do well with what you're going to be receiving. We're not interested in enriching the taxman. That's not the best use of, we don't believe that's the best stewardship of the royalties or of the gift that you're going to be receiving from Prado. They want you to do well. They want you to multiply it, not give it away to a disinterested party.
Well, thank you, Thomas. Appreciate that. Thomas touched on a couple of things. Dale touched on a couple of things, and that name of the particular trust that we generally use for complex trusts is a non-grantor, irrevocable, complex with a simple provision, diverse. See, I told you I couldn't even think of all of them.
Discretionary.
Copyrighted spendthrift trust, and I still missed one or two. So, but it's created by and has been around for quite a long time. Over 30,000 people through the people that we work with have them and have never been challenged. It's the people that we work with are enrolled agents from the IRS and some of the top attorneys who write the trust laws for the countries of the world. And so we are confident in their capability of marching right alongside the line of the law that says, here's if you step over it where you're in the jurisdiction, and here's where you are where you're safe. And they stick with you and help you. So gathering up all of this money, or if you have money that you've assets and wealth that you've grown, when the tide turns, and it's coming, we all know it's coming. The government is doing everything that they can to find the money that's out there and make it theirs. And what you don't want to do is be kept like the bridesmaids who were waiting for the groom to come and wasting their oil or saving their oil and then not being able to meet them, get locked outside of the banquet. You don't want to be out in the dark being told they don't know who you are. And so time is not your friend. Time is your enemy, and it's all going to happen soon. Starting the process and finishing the process are not necessarily all in one, but there is a process. And with that process, we can place you on the road for the right vehicle and positioning to allow you to achieve all of your goals. Some of your goals may be just getting through your life stage and leaving a legacy. Maybe it's growing more. Maybe it's protecting wider aspects of your overall life and those that you love. There's a lot to it that has to be analyzed, and then the plan is put together by the experts quite easily. But it does take time. So wealth protection is the key to the toll-free road. There are even elements of it that we have yet to discuss, and that's a specific structure of whole life insurance tied to your trust, and making therefore the iron gate impenetrable. And so that's about all I can tell you. But if you have interest in learning more about the trusts, feel free to reach out at I think it's KCTFO/fiduciary services. And we'll be happy to discuss matters with you. Some of the other stuff I do, and I'll just touch on it for a minute. We, in the past couple of meetings, we've talked about, putting a little periodical together. Well, that periodical has finally got a name. It's called KCT Commission, and it'll be a monthly periodical. You'll see its inaugural issue at the end of the week or first of the week. Mid-month is when we plan on distributing this on an ongoing basis, and it'll have information about some of the successful projects, what you can do to learn from them, how their perspective says this is how the process went, good, bad, or indifferent. There's some information about marketing. There's some information about life services, a little bit of everything, some fun and tongue-in-cheek. We're trying to get Dale to include a recipe, but so far he is even recognizing that I'm speaking to him about that. But he's such a good cook. Maybe he just doesn't know how to write. I don't know, but he knows how to cook. That's for darn sure. So stuff like that. And we're also looking for contributing producers. If you have something you want to get published, if it's a joke, if it's a story, if it's a poem, if it's whatever it is, if it's meets with, if you like it, I'm sure that most of us will like it too. So feel free to do that. And thank you. It's kctfo.com/fiduciary, not services, just fiduciary. And we'll get a process started for you. Thank you. And thank you, Dale. Thank you, Shannon, for that tip. Appreciate it.
Shannon,
And I've done.
oh, you're still here.
Who are we getting? Who's getting the mic next? Who's next?
I think you, and I want to, again, really stress one of the obvious things, and forgive me, it's like if I say, hey, guys, tie your shoes, let's go. I expect everybody to know what that means. What we found in working with projects, and many of you, if you have an issue with loans and talking about money, most of you have been raised with, you don't talk about the money, you don't talk about religion, and you don't talk about politics. Why? Well, because if you talk about religion, it divides you. If you talk about politics, it divides you. And you talk about money, well, a lot of people just don't know how money works. It probably divides you. Look at our country right now. So we took a step back in the last quarter, and we invited somebody who was more of a service provider in the publicity and marketing and using the right language, developing bios, and say, hey, let's work on getting your language right and see what happens with the money. This is the first good example going forward. Everyone with a project with us is going to get this type of coaching. But Shannon, if you wouldn't mind, it wasn't obvious until we stumbled across it. A lot of folks just didn't know how to ask for money, even talk about it. Would you mind as an example before we break out and have some fun? What did that look like?
Yeah, thank you, Dale.
Shannon,
Yeah,
Shannon, could I just add one more thing?
Yes,
Again,
please.
I don't want people to miss this. if you're in the right relationship with KCT, you've engaged with us, you didn't just sign your ABC agreement, the honorarium is put forward. With that honorarium, access to Shannon is made available to you. That's part of the benefits of doing it with KCT. So again, I just wanted to emphasize that having right relationship includes the honorarium. And for some, I don't think that people have really grasped that this is not fee for service. You're not buying our time. You're simply saying, we value what it is that you are giving us access to. Because Shannon is one of those things that you have access to. You don't get access to Shannon unless you want her to invite you into a fee for service, which is going to be higher than the services that she's providing us. I think that's safe to say Shannon's given us some consideration because she does really well with what she does. And as you all know from her doing these town halls, so Shannon, thank you for making yourself available as a service provider to all these fine folks, whether they took advantage of it or not. You missed out an opportunity if you didn't.
Thank you, Thomas. Yeah, I love how you guys have created this to where we create win-wins. And so not only what I'm sharing with you today, but there's other things that we do, like we did Media Magic, and everybody that was a fiduciary client or a part of KCT got upgraded for free to VIP. So there's a lot that we do just to really honor your partnership and your collaboration. And I know that there's many providers that do that. So yes, capital, this is the gateway to being able to turn on that faucet, have dreams come true, invest in marketing and client attraction and team and all of those things to really accelerate and grow, including education, because that a lot of times that's a big part of what we're doing. And part of why I love KCT and their agreement and how they come in together is that when you make this investment, not only do you get to be involved with all these great people, but you get high level experienced people that come into your project and help you grow. And so there's a few people that have they have a big dream, and so they're looking to raise money. And so I have over the years of raising capital and helping many others raise capital, have pulled together a course, even do one-on-one coaching, but we have a 5-minute, 5-step investor pitch that's been used to raise millions of dollars. And this particular pitch is a game changer. It was funny because I raised a lot of money, but once I got the 5-finger pitch, it was like, people started writing me bigger checks, and I could filter through people, and it was really powerful. The other thing that we include is we're giving away a capital raising checklist. And so this is kind of that must-have to be able to look through the fundamental tools and knowledge for the capital acquisition. So I'm going to share in a minute. I'll drop in. I'm actually doing a free webinar. Would love you guys to all join. We'll be going through some of these items, but please mention anything that I do. Please mention KCT and your involvement. If you are, if you've given your honorarium and you're involved, then we want to make sure that we take care of you. Dale, I wanted to, anything else you want me to add on that real quick? Because I wanted to mention something about the RRSC, if I may.
Please do. Thanks.
Okay.
Cool.
So I come from the normal jurisdiction of the SSC. That's where a lot of my training has come from, as far as the compliance and the rules. But at the end of the day, it's like you need to remain compliant, and you need to do that. You need to learn the key is being magnetic with your words and finding those key things that investors are looking for. And it is much different than getting people to events, and that there are key things that they look for. They want to know, what's the return? When's it going to come back? And these aspects. And when I got in touch with KCT, I'd known them for a number of years, but really had the opportunity to get involved in their royalty relationship sharing covenant. I was like, any of you guys that are raising capital, I invite you to seriously look at this. I could not imagine being in that other jurisdiction. This really is that place of community. That really is a place of partnership. This is that place of no debt. Like, think about no debt, no equity, and yet everybody wins. And so as I first got in and got to really dissect, and I at first I was like, okay, is this legal? And so I took it to somebody who was with the SEC for 12 years. And he, when we went through the different pieces, he was like, wow, this is it. The fact that you're doing this makes this, not in that jurisdiction. So it's really excited with what Dale has enacted as we say the financial futurist, but this instrument for raising capital is remarkable. So if you're looking to whether it be just that initial seed funding of, hey, I need 50 grand or hey, I need $1 million, would love the opportunity to play with you. So I'm going to drop in this webinar real quick and hopefully we can have you come play. If you don't want to wait until this free webinar, then please let me know. I'll also drop in, we do have an e-learning, and this is a great opportunity to plug in and learn from myself, who works with the capital languaging and the must-have list, but also we bring in this attorney who is former SEC, who's now the commissioner for the state of Florida. We have one of the top IP attorneys, and we even have legendary, who's now, rest in peace, Bernie Dorman, who's helped people raise billions of dollars. So it's a great opportunity. And I think that's it. Dale, anything else?
Oh, let's break out. Let's
Yay!
explode. Let's meet some of everyone.
Yay. All right, so this is our this is my favorite part. You get to meet all of these cool people. All right, somebody's asking about the e-learning. Oh, Dale, before we do this, while I'm getting this set up, I'm gonna take a quick poll just to get people's feedback on their various initiatives. There's, you know what, Dale, it does have the free webinar on here. Some of what Dale talked about, and while I'm getting this together, if you would be so kind to pick which one applies to you. And so when you get in the breakout room, we want to have a timekeeper. You're going to have 3 to 4 people in your room. We'd love to hear who you are, what you're up to in the world. And this is a time to do that ask. What is it that you're looking for next? Is there some way that we can support you? Now, this is like speed dating, so we don't want to get too much down the rabbit hole with questions and things like that. It'd be like, hey, Carol, I know you're a doula. I have somebody I want to connect with you, or I have more questions. Can we talk, can we talk offline? You want to have your Zoom connection ready as far as what your contact information, way to best connect with you, and go from there. So please be prepared with that. All right. Sorry, Dale, I didn't have this already, but I think I've got it. Let me exchange these two here. And I believe we are ready to go. So please hang out in your room for a moment. And the reason I say for a moment is because we may, if somebody's stepping out or not going to join, then I want to make sure that we do a quick swap and we have even me people in there. But pick a timekeeper. Person with the longest hair gets to go first, and then just 2 minutes each. And I think we are good to go. And then we'll see you back here in a moment. Here we go.
I relocated. I'm
All right,
down in Fort Pierce now, so I'm the other direction from you guys now.
Oh, beautiful. Wonderful. So who wanted to share? Who met a great person or something they learned new? Debbie, go ahead.
Well, I met 2 new people this time. I met Sherry and Nadine this time. I've never met either one of them. So it was wonderful seeing completely new people.
Beautiful.
I like that.
Anybody else have something they want to share? An aha inspiration from this connection?
Well, for me, it was just another indication that the world's pretty small, because while I've never met Paul in the past, he's not only did he know James Daggert, he also knows Mark Lacasse, and I only know Mark Lacasse through my relationship with Dale. So again, we're not very, our connectivity to Kevin Bacon, to Mark Lacasse apparently is just 3 or 4 deep.
There you go.
That's beautiful. Great. Yes. Continue to put your information in the chat. I'm going to do one more final poll, and we're going to open up for some Q&A. Cheryl, go ahead.
Yeah, I just wanted to share real quick that I just learned that Carol is a big Rolodex And there's a lot of people, so.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
Yes. You want to know Carol
Yes.
and Jim Digert. They're both in that connection mode.
It's awesome.
Perfect. So I just ignited another poll. Just we'd love your feedback on the event. That would be wonderful. So I'm going to open up for questions. If you post at the bottom, there's a reaction. You can raise your hand. Would love to open this up if you have questions for Dale or David or anybody on the team.
Well, I just want to say I'm really excited to, and feel very privileged to be here with so many wonderful people of my heart and getting to know the rest of you. And excited to see the projects and all the wins. It just warms my heart. And I was really excited to be able to give Rui the phone numbers I wanted him to have that were
From her Rolodex.
yeah. Anyways, thank you.
Thank you, Carol.
Thank you,
Anybody
Carol.
else? I just want to add a comment about Carol and about this beautiful community is that spirit of giving first and that spirit of sharing and collaborating and connecting and opening up your Rolodex, because that's, that is a beautiful asset that Thomas and Dale talk about. It's a lot of times who we know and those connections that connect that, connect the puzzle and build the pieces. All right, Dale, any closing remarks?
Well, what's next? We've got Love Your Neighbor tonight, for example.
Let me pull that up,
Anyone
sorry.
remember that? That's first Tuesday, I think, 9 o'clock Eastern of
8 o'clock.
with everyone. Is it 8?
I think it is.
It is 8.
Oh, one of those. Sorry, my night goes a little late tonight. But this is coming up. This is a much more intimate way of looking at, where you live when everything went into to shut down. There's still opportunities to get your house in order. And this is where we can come share basically a few hacks that we've all kind of figured out in the last couple of years. But more about that, Shannon, and other things that may be coming up worthwhile.
Yeah, so our next town hall, we do this on the second Tuesday of every month, so November the 8th. And 1 p.m. again, this is our opportunity to invite guests and let them know what we're up to and how to get involved. And we always do the breakout rooms. Our next Power Partners is October 25th. And then our Get Stuff Done. This is for individuals that are a part of the Cooperative Marketing Covenant. You've already taken that step. You've gotten in the community and that exchange. And so that is on the 27th. And that's really where you get a chance to look behind the curtain, see what we're doing. I will post those in the chat. I'm not seeing any feedback on the event. Are you guys seeing the poll? Because I reposted
Yes.
it a couple times.
Mhm.
Okay.
I
I see it.
tried answering it and I didn't know if it was registering or not.
Yeah,
No,
it's saying
mine,
0.
mine wouldn't take my answer. When I
Yeah.
hit submit, it wouldn't submit.
That is so
I filled mine
weird.
out twice.
And
Yeah.
it disappears. I get to the last one and it disappears.
Okay,
Open
so
back
we'll try,
again.
Mine out.
Yeah,
we'll try
Popped
it
up
one
again.
Start
more
again.
time.
Oh, mine's gone.
Okay, hold on. I'm doing relaunch poll, relaunch. Okay, let's try this one more time. I have not had to do this before.
No, it's still not taking it.
It's
Okay.
taking my answers, but I already submitted once and this is the 4th one I've gotten.
Okay, yeah, it's not showing up on our end, so we'll have to do a poll, a thing to Zoom.
I can, it'll take the radio button, but it won't take the submit button.
Okay,
Okay, so
All right.
earlier in the chat thread, mentioned it, but it's worth revisiting because the poll's not functioning. If you've heard anything, you met someone, care to lean in more, want to know more about one particular subject matter or another, you thought somebody was cute, or I don't know. Let us know on this little link right here. You can, just kind of give us your basic contact information. We've got our support on here, some of the partners you may have met. And we'll look forward to getting back to you and getting you properly connected with who you might need to know next that has the what or knows how, where you might be stuck. In so many words.
all right. Thank you guys so much. Thank you, Dale. Thank you, everybody.
Oh my God.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Blessings. Bye for
All
now.
right.
Bye, everyone.
See you soon.
Bye.
Goodbye from England.
Bye for now.
Thank you.